Deck.com want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks. It is our national cash contest. 4 o'clock keyword is grand. Go to KFAN.com and enter the keyword grand.
A 701 guy. 6 turnovers off Rudy's knees with catchable balls, and we consider that his best game ever. Did he watch the game? Sometimes I'm left at a loss for words, which is a problem on radio. If you watched, forget even the box score. I don't know how you could have watched that game and come away from it saying Rudy Gobert was a problem. Honestly, I could hear if you wanted to say, my God, it's a shame that it's major news when he's as much a factor offensively, because it's one of the reasons it stands out is the degree to which he's not part of the offense or capable of doing something in the offense. But you want to do the box score instead? 38 minutes. 8 for 9 from the floor. And you could say, well, those are mainly dunks. That's okay. That still counts. 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. 3 turnovers. Okay, that's not great for a big man. One of them isn't his fault. I don't know if they assigned him that one on the bad pass. Because that pass, if 701 guy thinks the pass late in the game that Randall delivered to him was catchable, I don't think that's a good. I don't care if you're talking about Bill Walton, who probably had better hands than any center in history, that you're throwing it to him. What game are you watching? Or does Shaq have a 701 burner account? It's possible it's Shaquille. I don't know.
I don't know if he's big in Fargo.
I mean, is that how visceral the Rudy hatred is?
There's a lot of it.
We know that's well established, but that's just, I don't know how.
Rudy wasn't in the top 10 reasons that they lost that game.
And if they'd have won it, he'd been in the top 3 of why they won it. Because defensively, again, he was very good. Denver shot, 44% from the floor. I didn't see them be particularly effective at the rim either. So I don't know what game 701 guy was watching. I'm not exactly sure. If Wild win tonight, would they start Gus Bus game 3? My God. Well,
it depends on how the Wall plays, I guess.
That's what it is. That's what it comes down to. I mean, I think
it's his net.
It's unless he gives up 6 tonight, and then it becomes easy to say, okay, let's give it. We got 2 goaltenders. We felt that all along. Pressure's off a little bit. The other guy has to feel a little bit better about the fact that he's not the only one screwing up. So we'll put the other guy in. Let's get back on schedule. Went a little bit long with Luigi, but I enjoyed the discussion as always. Jonny Athletic, the hockey agitator, is going to join at 5:30. I should say 4:30, so bottom of this hour.
He did ask for primetime, or he suggested primetime, and I said, we're a hockey show now, Johnny. West Walls is at 5:30. So he graciously agreed to 4:30.
That was kind of him.
Yeah.
It's very kind
He understands.
It's about time he does. Bonus bucks?
I did it coming back.
Oh, you did.
So we're good. But if you missed it, it's grand. KFAN.com. Keyword is grand.
Grand?
Yes,
grand?
sir. Yes.
That grand? I guess there's only one kind of grand. We'll get caught up. A couple more texts. I got a TV broadcast question to get to as well when we return.
Don't miss the Miller Lite Vikings draft party. It's at U.S. Bank Stadium on Thursday. Catch all the first-round action with all of us all night long, plus meet and greets with current players and legends, and your shot at tons of prizes. Tickets available, Vikings.com/draft party.
We need more from our medium knockers. We want refs not employed at Foot Locker. The free throw discrepancy is a shocker. Wolves in 5. Interesting. Somebody said that they heard Common mentioning that today is the day we find out that JG is probably out of here. And the texter was confused and said, has Guardsy got a big announcement? But apparently he was referring to Grenard, Jonathan Grenard. And I'm sure we'll have plenty of Vikings in the top 5 at 5 because all the principals spoke today, right? Speaking of big knockers, Justin Jefferson spoke.
Yep.
The head coach spoke. Rob Brzezinski spoke. Did anybody else of note?
I think those were the three.
I think those are the big three. There's ongoing discussion that the Eagles are sniffing around Grenard. I thought it had all kind of died down, but on the other hand, as I talked with Ben Gessling on Friday, I wondered why it was dying down because we hadn't had any indication that the Vikings were willing to make much of a change to his contract, and it still sounded like his people wanted some renegotiation. So to me, it was an open question. Is it really getting quieter, or is it we're just not bothering to talk about it? And I think it's a sneaky big story that can't be overlooked. He's a good player. He did not have as good a season overall last year as he did the year before, and I think he missed more time. But you're back to, do we really like this team with him out of here? What are you going to get? I guess if you get enough draft choices or high enough draft choices, you'd consider it. But so the Eagles are talking about trading their big time receiver, Brown, right? And allegedly he's going to go to New England. And then they at least have expressed some interest in acquiring Grenard. Have you seen any other intel from the Jackals today on Grenard?
Just that they asked Rob Brzezinski about it. You want that sound?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, JG's a great player. I mean, I expect JG to be here. You know, it's like there's all this speculation. You know, there's been speculation. There's conversations that take place with respect to players all the time on rosters. And for some reason, sometimes some things get public and you know, other times they don't. But, you know, he's a really good player and a special person and a leader. And we're really happy he's a part of our team.
That's a good answer. That doesn't mean anything, but it's a good answer because you want to leave all your options. So there was anything there that said he couldn't be traded. On the other hand, you don't want to play the game of, well, yeah, he's unhappy with us and we're unhappy with him and we'll take the highest bidder. You want to make it seem like the Vikings are perfectly willing to bring him back. What I haven't heard about is he capable of sitting? I guess in this case, it would be a hold in as opposed to a hold out.
Right.
Those kinds of things. That's kind of the trend because he's under contract.
Yes.
For next year. The question is how, I guess, vociferous his people are being about an adjustment. Because I think early the reporting seemed to indicate, well, they want an adjustment. The Vikings want to give it to him, so probably the Vikings are going to have to deal him. And I feel like the rhetoric has changed, not from people in the organization, but from the way the media has been covering this. I know we're going to have Seifert tomorrow, and it's among the subjects we will explore with him.
He was not in the building today for the first day of Vikings off-season workouts, which I know is one of your favorite times of year. Off-season workouts, the first official day of that. So if that means anything to you.
These are not required, though, right?
Correct.
Yeah. But nevertheless,
right.
It can be, okay, where are you going with this?
By the way,
was 9 in the building?
I don't know if he was. I think he was. I would assume so.
Was Kyler in the building?
I would assume so, but I don't know.
He better be. We have extended a lifeline to him.
That's true.
He doesn't even deserve it, but we're extending a lifeline to him. The least he can do is take the damn preserver, right? Put it around his neck, and let's get to work. From day one, let's get to work.
In the top 5 today, I will play another Rob Brzezinski soundbite that has me thinking he's perfect for the Vikings general manager role. And maybe
I look forward to that.
The Timberwolves and maybe the Twins. He's a perfect front office executive.
Jonny Athletic has been called out yet again by a member of the hockey community.
Oh, boy.
We'll give you details of that. We'll have Johnny file a live report from Denver where the Wolves, down 0-1, are back in action against the Nuggets tonight. That's an even later game than the Wild game, correct?
Yes.
9:45 probably in the case of the Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
A game you can hear on News Talk AM 1130 and of course the award-winning Timberwolves channel. steal from the best. Let's steal from Kornheiser and Wilbon. Their opening question right in front of us. We will pass along to Jonny Athletic, Dateline, Denver, Colorado. More surprising Game 1 win, Lakers or Magic?
I will say Magic, because about 3 games ago, the Magic looked dead in the water. They looked like they had quit on their coach. They looked like the season was completely over. And then they absolutely blitzed the Hornets in the must-win play-in game. And then they played Detroit, which, as good as they were in the regular season, you do have question marks about the lack of shooting, about the lack of shot creation. They have some real weaknesses that you thought might be exposed in the playoffs, and the Magic did that. The Lakers, I am not surprised about as much, because it's more of my lack of faith in Houston. I think they're a really poorly coached team. I think when Kevin Durant is out, they have no one on offense that worries you at all. And they don't seem like a connected team. They seem like they have a lot of different personality conflicts and things of that nature. So when the going gets tough, it does not seem like a group that is constituted to stick together. Whereas, so I was not surprised that the Lakers won that game, actually, even with their misses. I am more surprised that the Magic have somehow come back from the dead and beat a 60-win team, even if that 60-win team has some faults that you know about.
2 thoughts. Obviously, Durant, as you mentioned, being out is massive, and I don't think was expected, because he sat a lot late, right? And so it's right. And he's not a guy. He's not much of a load management guy. He plays a lot, which tells me that might
second
be
most minutes in the league this year, Dan.
Is that what it was? Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
So to me, that's got to be a big piece of this. On the Orlando side, you know what it reminds me of? In the end, no matter how much we pontificate and analyze and try to, in good faith, a lot of times, lay out our thoughts, players and coaches can make complete fools out of us. Because, as you say, I can't imagine a team that was ganged up on more in NBA media circles than Orlando. All it seemed for legitimate reasons. And now they haven't won the series yet. I get that. But it just shows you that in the end, the players always have the last word.
They do, Dan. And, we talked a lot about the Wolves possibly being a flip the switch team going into the playoffs. Maybe the Magic were the team that have the switch to flip. And the thing about the playoffs that I love the most, Dan, is that, look, you can go through the regular season and a team like Detroit or Phoenix or Portland or a few of these teams can have, Toronto is another one, they can have really nice regular seasons because they play really hard together all the time, and that's really admirable. I think that you can't overlook a team taking the regular season seriously. But then when it gets to the playoffs and every team starts to play hard, that's when the more talented team really shows up. And I think the Magic have a lot of talent individually. They just didn't play that hard. And when you see that switch flip, it turns in a different way. And that's what I think Wolves fans really hope to see tonight as well.
At the top of the food chain of requirements or necessities for the Wolves to counter by returning back to Minnesota with a split. If you're at the top of the list, I know there's a bunch of stuff you can point to, but if you go to the top of the list, what's number one on the Jonny Athletic priority train?
Yeah, it's Julius Randle, Dan. I mean, it seems simple. It seems maybe like, the one big pincushion that everyone is poking at right now, but he had far too many instances in game 1 where he was way late getting back into a play defensively, where he was making a poor decision on offense, missing shots right around the rim against a team that cannot protect the rim. He told me after the game that he had a choppy game. That's probably putting it kindly.
Yes, it is.
But offensively, he was not really in sync. And defensively, we know that he is not Wembanyama defensively, but he at least has to give requisite effort and just try. When he tries defensively, he's okay. And there were too many times in game one, where the Nuggets got open putbacks, dunks, things of that nature, because Julius Randle his head wasn't in it, and he was lollygagging back into the fight, and they need him to join the fight defensively tonight.
We talk a lot on this show over the years about big knockers, and it's a term that Jerry Burns kind of, I don't know if he invented, but he certainly used to explain his belief that, great coaching is great coaching, but in the end, you got to have your big knockers, your most talented players respond. They have to knock. We know Anthony Edwards is this team's, really, I think, their only big knocker in that sense. But I came away from game one convinced that if the Wolves get even good to very good contributions from the aforementioned Julius Randle and from Naz Reid, that they could have stolen that game even with Anthony Edwards not necessarily being at his best. I think that should not be. There's so much discussion about his injury and about, does he have that extra gear now? And that matters. But I'm telling you, we got other players who are talented on this team who are, I call, medium knockers. And they did not answer the bell. Jaden did early, but then I thought as the game went on, he got frustrated. So to me, I put all three in that boat as saying, if you get good to very good from them, I think we're talking about the Wolves up in this series 1-0.
Yeah, you're 100% right. They were within 2 with like 4 minutes to go, Dan. I mean, they were right there. And one of the reasons I kind of put a little more emphasis in my game one coverage on Ant and his knee was mostly because I know that I can rely on Anthony Edwards.
Right.
If he is healthy, to give you everything that he's got. And I thought, actually, for what I know about his knee and how much it is hurting him, 22, 9, and 7, the 9 rebounds I thought was terrific.
I agree.
Like, I thought and his defense was slow because his knee is not allowing him to. But anyways, long story longer, you're right about those 3, and I will separate Jaden from the other 2 in this respect. I think that the issue right now, and the issue all season, both with Jaden McDaniels and Dante DiVincenzo, is when they disappear from the offense, it's usually because Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards are not getting them involved enough. Whereas I think Julius Randle and Naz Reid, they just didn't play, didn't make shots. It was on them that they didn't get going in that game. And I think it's going to be more on Anthony Edwards tonight to really be kind of intentional about, I'm getting Jaden McDaniels shots. They don't have anyone who can guard him. And so I'm going to get him the ball and keep him involved. In the third quarter, when things went haywire, it was because the ball stopped moving. Ant and Julius were hunting shots, and they were not getting Jaden McDaniels or DiVincenzo, who was shooting ball really well, involved. And so that is a real key for this series. Is I think Denver is not very good defensively. And if you just put pressure on them by getting the ball moving, you're going to get great shots. They have to kind of avoid the inclination to do iso ball and to take things over themselves.
And go to the rim, right? Go to the rim.
Yeah,
they have
go to the rim.
Protection.
Nikola Jokic is a turnstile in the paint. That was the other thing that I didn't like about Julius's game, Dan, is that he had Aaron Gordon on him for most of the game, and he tried to bully ball Aaron Gordon, and Gordon is the only defender on Denver you don't do that.
That's true. Good point.
He is the guy who can stand up to that.
Yep.
So get the ball moving, get them attacking Jokic, attacking Cam Johnson, attacking Christian Brown, and you're going to have much better shots than Julius Randle one-on-one against Aaron Gordon, who is a very good, very sturdy defender.
Chicken or egg to handle this particular question. Did Bones Highland not play more minutes because he wasn't looking very good, or did the head coach not give him enough time to get into the kind of rhythm that has given this team kind of a different look and a different energy offensively?
Yeah, I thought in watching the game back, and I really even thought about it in the game as well, I understand why Bones' first shift was short. He missed a couple layups at the rim, took kind of a bad three-pointer, wasn't making very good decisions, defensively wasn't doing great against those non-Jokic Nuggets core, and that's why the Nuggets were able to get back into the game. And so he didn't play well, and I understand why he had a quick hook right away. But I really wish that Finch would have gone back to him in the third quarter when everything was stagnating, when they were not getting out in transition, when they weren't getting good shots in the half court. I think that Bones has earned the right for a second shift in the game. During the regular season, a lot of times Rob Dillingham would only get one shift, and that was it. And I understood that. He really didn't give you much of a track record to say, no, if I go back to him, he'll hit a couple of shots and loosen things up. I think Bones has done enough this season to earn a second shot, even if the first one doesn't go well, especially when the real problem in that third quarter was stagnancy on offense and ISO ball. Get Bones out there. See if he just gets out in transition for an easy bucket. See if he hits a three and loosens things up. And I think he can do that. He's that microwave type player. So if there's a quibble I had with the way Finch worked game one, that was a big one for sure.
What do you think Finch's thinking was on Conley? I'm not saying I didn't think there was any chance Conley would play in the postseason, but I thought there was less of a chance, and I certainly didn't see it coming that early. What was the message there, do you think?
Yeah, I think that what it was, what it all gets back to with him and with Chris Finch is trust. Like, I think that he wants, especially in that second unit, he wants someone he can rely on, who won't turn the ball over, who will be able to chase Jamal Murray around a little bit. If we saw it in the first quarter and really all game, they really couldn't stay in front of Jamal Murray at all, and were fouling him over and over and over again. And I think that he thought Mike Conley could have that task and at least bother Murray. And I thought his first shift, Dan, was really, really good.
Yeah,
I thought he made things happen defensively. I thought he was in the right spots. That second shift, it wasn't. And you could tell that the Nuggets sought him out, tried to use their size against him, and had a little bit more success. But ultimately what it came down to was that Chris Finch trusts Mike Conley more than he does Bones Highland right now. And that's why he went to Mike, where I think that sort of script might have to flip in game two.
Yeah, because the thing I think that doesn't add up there to me is then why continue to invest, especially the last, 20 games of the season, as heavily in Bones as you did. Now, I get it. The playoffs are harder. Everything's harder. It's not as loosey-goosey. Yeah. But I'm back to, we thought you did that for a reason. He brought me along on Bones because I didn't want to play him at all. And I'm thinking, well, then you sort of got to give it a little more of an opportunity, or it sort of seems like you've wasted all of those minutes if you did not intend to give him a chance to kind of play through something.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you totally here, Dan. And I do think that when the pressure ramps up, as it does in the playoffs, everyone, players and coaches, go back to what they feel safe with. Right. And that's what Finch does. And he loves Mike Conley. He trusts him. He has believed in him the whole way through. And so I think that they have to see it happen in real time of like, okay, this was something that I gotta fix. And so I think he went to Conley in game one because he just has gone to him over the last 3-4 years, whatever it's been. And that's just what he sought out. Conley is his safety blanket, and he's going to have to come to a hard decision or continue believing in him and hope that Conley just hits more threes and does some things that you don't expect him to do. But if he relies on Mike Conley too much, that is going to be an issue if it doesn't work for him. It's a gamble that he's taking at this point. Is there any reason to think that the Wolves can get more than one offensive game from Rudy like they did in game one? Did they figure something out that you think is sustainable, or is that one of the old, we're going to look back on that game and say that's the best offensive game he's played in 2 or 3 years? What do we make of the possibility of it continuing? Yeah, I have to see it again, Dan. I do. And I love Rudy. I was talking to people leading up to this week, and they all were kind of telling me that Rudy's level of focus and work during this week of practice was as good as they've ever seen from him. And that's saying something because Rudy's one of the team's hardest workers. But there was a belief going into this series that there was at least a chance that he could be more effective offensively, especially against a player like Jokic, who just is not very good defensively, and that they would be able to take advantage of a few things. I don't think anyone saw 8 for 9 from the field, catching the ball cleanly in the pocket, and not only all of that, but actually like creating off of the dribble, getting downhill himself.
The Euro step?
That's just not a Rudy Gobert we've seen.
No.
And so I would have to see that again before I said, yes, that some sort of corner has been turned in year 11 or whatever it is right now, year 12 for him, that this is sustainable. I think that if you're the Wolves, you hope that you get more from Randall and Reed and maybe just a little less from Gobert, but he's still good. And then that puts you in really good position. But if you go into game 2 thinking, yeah, we're going to get another, 16 to 18 points from Rudy on ultra high efficiency and on him really going at Jokic and creating and scoring through contact, good luck. And I think that Denver Nuggets would say, yeah, let's see it again. And if you beat us that way, we'll shake your hand and go for game 3.
Johnny, can you play sustained periods, long periods of small ball against them? I ask because if Naz Reid is as dreadful as he was in game 1 and as whiny and preoccupied with the officials as he is in game 1, I'm ready to say, all right, let's try something else. But give me the configurations. I mean, can you go small? Can you go 3 guards? If they're, we have options. We know we have a lot of wing options that we have certainly believed in during the regular season. Is that something that you can do if you're saying, for whatever reason, Naz either is still hurt or he just doesn't have it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one that would intrigue me, Dan, if we did go down this road, I wouldn't mind seeing Terrence Shannon Jr. out there because he is small. He's a wing, but he's a big wing.
True.
Like he does have some bulk to him. He does have some muscle to him. And you want, I think, against this team, guys who can just attack the rim relentlessly.
Yep.
And that's what Shannon does the best. Like he gets out and he runs and he goes to the rim. And he may not make every shot, but the ones that he misses there, he's going to leave a bruise in your chest when he gets there. And so that's at least intriguing to me that if Naz Reid is again just a real on the struggle bus, maybe you do pull him and try Shannon. Or if Julius Randle is not giving you the requisite effort, maybe it's Terrence Shannon Jr. I do think you give up a lot defensively. I think Gordon and Jokic would just absolutely attack him over and over again. But if you're getting more back offensively on the other end, it might at least be worth a look, again, if those other 2 guys are as ineffective as they were in game 1.
Let's get back to Anthony. So I think the open question that goes beyond this season is whether we are now talking about a relatively still young player, despite the mileage he already has, with a knee issue that is ongoing. How do we describe, how much concern is there? Or is it considered the kind of injury where you said there's nothing, technically, wrong with the knee, that just rest will take care of this particular issue? How much concern should there be that we're in the beginning stages of what could end up being kind of a chronic thing that we're constantly evaluating with him?
Yeah, from what I was told, I've talked to people even in the last couple of days about it. First of all, he is in real pain. Like this is something that very much bothers him whenever Steph Curry has said the same thing. When you have a couple of days off and you can rest, you can kind of play, it feels okay. But as soon as you ramp up the activity, then fluid builds up and it really swells. And that's when the pain and the irritation really kicks in and makes it difficult to deal with. But from all I hear, so far, there's nothing structurally wrong with the knee. And there is a belief in some circles that whenever this season is over, if he can take a month or 6 weeks and just rest it, that it should actually calm down and be okay. Now, we'll see as the series goes along, and does more kind of damage occur? Does he get hurt in other ways that would require some sort of surgery or something? You can never rule that out. But as of right now, I believe it's much more of a pain management and a threshold of what can he take versus a concern about this being a lingering thing that will kind of follow him for years after this.
All right, let's finish with a letter I received to my account from Sleepy Steve in SoCal. That's how he described himself, Sleepy Steve in SoCal. Count me among the Minnesota fans that really dislikes how your show and Johnny like to be so divisive and pit these fans against one another. It comes across especially mean-spirited from Johnny. I just don't get it. Your show, though, do what you want. It's your show. I'll keep listening because I do love the show and appreciate the work you put in. So here's your chance to either fan the Flames or to say, we're having fun with it. We're having a good time. We like poking the bear, but there's no evil intent.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been pretty clear about this over the years. I think most of this is in good fun, the stuff that we have with Fallness, the back and forth. I do think, though, Dan, that hockey fans are more sensitive about it than basketball fans. I always find it very interesting that when the hockey team is having some success, the immediate reaction is to come at the basketball community and try to diminish and all that. I am happy for the Wild. I loved that Bill Guerin went all in with the win now move. I love that they came out firing in game one against Dallas. Certainly this sporting community needs success in all sports, especially including hockey. And so I like that point. I look at it more of like my son and my daughter are 7th and 5th grade. And the older one likes to get under the younger one's skin, and he loves her to death, but she reacts so strongly to the rage bait, as the kids call it, that it's hard not to keep going back to that well. If the hockey fans were gracious, if they laughed about it, if they didn't take themselves so seriously, it would not be as fun to poke that bear. But they keep coming back for more and more, and I'll keep handing it out if they want it, because I'm only too happy to do it. But in the big picture, I hope the Wild do well. I want to see a team break through and win the whole thing, whether it's the Wolves, the Wild, the Vikings, whoever. But you guys, if you keep coming at me and you keep getting so mad, there's only going to be more of that on the plate coming back at you.
So that's your way of taking it down a notch. I see.
Yeah, maybe I didn't, but I'm trying to lay the groundwork. I'm trying to let them know that this trap is being set and they keep walking into it over and over again. And don't do it, guys. Just don't do it, and everything will be fine, I think.
I think a couple of more bad nights in Denver, and you're going to be asking Joe Smith and Russo if they need any sidebar help for the Western Conference semifinals. I think you might have to jump in, don't you?
I'll just need some directions to the arena, but I would be happy to go over there and show them how to write about a team that gets into the second round of the playoffs, because they don't know how to do that just yet.
That's true. They don't. Good cheap shot. Just stay in Denver because they might be there next. So just hang out there and extend the hotel stay.
By the way, one last item. From the Nuggets perspective, I assume they're saying, my God, Aaron Gordon, 3 fouls, had to sit him through much of the second quarter. We were awful. We're one of the best 3-point shooting teams out there, I think, and we were awful shooting from 3 for most of the game. We've got a lot more in our tank, and we still got a victory. I assume that's the way they're probably looking at game one.
Yeah, 100%, Dan. I think that, from a sober perspective,
yes,
as a Wolves chronicler, if Wolves fans were watching that game and going into game 2, there has to be much more nervousness that the Nuggets can hit another level than the Wolves can, because the Nuggets went 1 for 17 from 3 in the second half, and a lot of them were wide open looks. And Jokic was very good in the second half, but he was mortal in the first half. And they still were tied at halftime. And so I think that absolutely Denver can say we will be much, much better. And I think that the Wolves, if they're in their heart of hearts, say, man, game 1 was a very, very gettable game, and we let them off the hook. That is not a good sign going forward in this series. And so they're going to have to be remarkably better, and the Nuggets just have to be a little bit better to feel really good about what's going to happen tonight.
Thank you, Johnny. We'll be reading.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Appreciate you. Jonny Athletic from Denver, Colorado. Wolves, Denver tonight. And, of course, that game is scheduled for about a 9:45 Central Time start. That's on NBC, Peacock, and, of course, on not only the Timberwolves channel, but News Talk AM 1130 tonight with opening faceoff, as I said, probably about 9:45. Top 5 at 5 is around the corner with a lot of Vikings stuff, I'm told. Anything else of note? Oh, looks like he's still on the phone. I can't even see him. We will, I'm sure, get some Vikings nuggets. We'll talk Wild. We'll talk Wolves, and maybe even the suddenly slumping Minnesota Twins.